Okay, I'm going to show you how to throw a chuck right now because I want to trim these rounded tops that I don't have a way of setting them down without putting them in something, and I want to trim the bottoms of them. So what I'm going to do is throw a chuck, and to do that I'm just going to center this. This is Rod's Bod, it's a cone 10 stoneware. I think Laguna Clay sells it. But I'm just going to get it centered here. And I'm not planning on keeping this. So I'm going to drop it all the way to the bat head and open it up a little bit. I'm just trying to keep in mind the width of what I'm actually throwing or trimming. So I'm just going to pull it up. And I'm doing a couple of different ones. Some are wider on top and some are more narrow. So I'm going to bring this in quite a bit and flare it out. And I'm not overly concerned about making sure it's centered, although it would be nice if it was. And that's it, basically. I do need to let it dry a little bit, and I'm going to just use a blowtorch to do that. But basically now I could drop these inside of it, and it'll hold it in place while it spins, and I could trim the bottoms around. And you can see how that one is a much narrower top than that one, but both will still fit inside of this chuck. All right. I'm going to pause this, and then when I come back it'll be dry and I'll show you how to trim. Okay, I'm back with a very warm piece of clay now. I don't know if you can see the steam coming off of it, but it's still quite warm, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the performance of it. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this guy. What I want to do is I'm just trimming it round because I have some future plans for these guys. So I just need to make sure this is centered and not wobbling back and forth like that. That'd make it really difficult to trim and it wouldn't be even. So I'm just kind of watching my finger over here, and as the clay comes closer to it I try to stop it at that point and move it back towards me, away from that. And when it gets to a point where it's fairly close, like this, maybe a little bit more I could try. Sometimes it's easier to center it when it's way off as opposed to when it's really close like this. So I'm just going to take my trimming tool and start taking some off of it. I'm going to leave this hand on top just in case it tries to move on me. I don't want it to come off of the chuck. And you can see the ribbons that are coming off when I'm trimming here. That means the clay is at a really great consistency, what they call leather hard or cheese hard. It's the perfect consistency to start trimming because the clay is set up. It doesn't have much give to it. You can still put marks into it, but if you push on it, it's going to take a lot more effort to deform it than it will if it was just thrown. And bone dry is when all the water has left it. And at that point, you can only scratch into it or break it. So that's the point where it's easiest to break it, is bone dry. So you gotta be really careful. But these ribbons are really nice. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for, is a nice rounded bottom on these. These are going to be suspended off the ground, so they don't need to be able to actually have a flat bottom. so they don't need a flat bottom to sit on. They are enclosed forms, and you can see on this one I poked a tiny little hole in the top of it. That's so when it starts to dry, or even when it's fired, the air has a place to escape. Because if it stays inside of there, the expanding, when it heats up or when the clay body shrinks, the air will try to escape somewhere, and oftentimes it breaks the side or cracks the pot in some way. Just a little bit more on this guy and then I'll be done. I think these guys are destined to be raku fired, and maybe we'll make a video of that as well. This being the first talking video, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to stop following these videos now that you've heard my voice, you're more than welcome to. I don't blame you at all. Have a great day.